What's up, YouTube? This is Keith.
That's Brian.
You're watching Less Magic, More Gathering. Today we're going to be doing episode 1 of Less Magic, More Gathering's top picks. We're going to be going over our favorite commanders, why we like them, what they do, and what kind of decks they benefit. We're going to probably each do 2, and we've got an honorable mention here at the beginning when we first get started.
All right.
We'll probably throw in a giveaway too, so stay focused and pay attention, because we're not going to make it as easy on you as we usually do. So, that being said, let's get started. Alright, so we're going to start out here with our honorable mention. Brian's talked about building a deck around this guy, and I've decided that if he doesn't do it soon, I'm going to.
No, you're not.
General Tazri. He's a white creature, but he has all colors in his text box, so he can be used as a 5-color commander.
That he can. He's a 5-drop, legendary human ally. When General Tazri enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an ally creature card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. You pay 1 of each color mana. Ally creatures you control get a +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of colors among those creatures.
So you put together a 5-color ally deck and start giving your allies +5/+5, and the allies are built so that they all kind of synchronize together.
Yes.
It's not quite as stupid as Slivers, where those effects are permanent, but usually at the beginning of every turn, or when something dies or something like that, you can have all your creatures gain whatever ability. So that's our honorable mention. Neither one of us have built that deck, but with the abilities he's got, I think he deserves mentioning.
Yes, pretty good. Hopefully I'll have that for you soon. And no, I'm not letting Keller do it.
So why don't you take it away for the first one, then I'll get one in. And
Alright, so my first pick is a deck that I have already put together, but I drew this card out of a pack many eons ago. Can't say it's that far long ago, but it is Ural the Miststalker, or Miststalker, I can't pronounce it very well, but it's a 5-drop, Plains, Forest, Mountain, and 2 others. Legendary creature beast. Ural the Miststalker can't be target of spells or abilities your opponents control. Ural gets a +2/+2 for each aura attached to it. It's a 5/5 to start out with. So I got this card and I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen, because when I first started playing it was about that time, and I never got to use it until suddenly I realized Commander was a game. And so, boom, let's do it. So what I technically did is I decided to design this deck based around obviously a lot of auras, and putting these auras in here for his use, because obviously, I mean, it's a +2/+2 every time you target him or attach an aura to him. So I mean, that in itself is pretty gnarly. I mean, you play, most auras obviously have something on them already, so you got some that give them like a 2/2 or a 3/3 with like a anything, flying, death touch, something, whatever you want. And you know, if you played the game enough, you know that there's a lot of auras out there. 2 of the ones that are identical auras that have 2 different names, I put in a deck for this guy. I mean, absolutely, why would you not? They are Flinching Courage and Armadillo Cloak. Both do the same exact same thing. Chant creature gets a +2/+2 and has trample and lifelink. So right then and there, you play one of those as a 3-drop on him after turn 5, depending on your mana build. And you now have a 9/9 creature with trample and lifelink that's hexproof, which is pretty stupid. So that's why I like this guy, and I put, like I said, quite a few enchantments in here, and a lot of other creatures that kind of help build around it. So not only he is not the target, there's other creatures that I would throw in a deck around this guy. 2 of which are the Yavimaya Enchantress. She's only a 2/2. But she gets a +1/+1 for each enchantment in play. So right there alone, you're building up her as well. Same with Aura Gnarlid. Same concept applies with him. 2/2 and 1/1 for each aura on the battlefield. So I mean, there's a lot of different aspects you can do with this type of a creature for your commander. I just went with it when I had him. I don't know if there's certain spells. There are certain ones that would benefit, like the start off of this deck. I don't know if you know the card name, Myal's Aria. It's a 3-drop.
You don't even know the card name.
I think that's how it's pronounced, Myal's. I can't. Same set as Ural's from, so I'm guessing it's pretty good reasoning behind the fact that these two would go together. But at the beginning of your upkeep, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control if you control a creature with power 5 or greater. Guess what? Ural's a power 5. Surprise, surprise. Right off the bat, you get a 1/1 on all your creatures. Then, you gain 10 life if you control a creature with power 10 or greater. You just put Unflinching Courage on him the last round, 9, and then you plussed him up 1, so now he's a 10 for the next round, so you gain the 10 life, and then you win the game if you control a creature with power 20 or greater. So it won't take long if you can keep him on the board without getting removed, or you have to block with him and it's killed or something, and then you can keep that enchantment on the board. You can pretty much win a commander game in no time, I think. It's just a sweet combo. Other than that, I can go into detail all day long and deck tech this, but maybe I'll deck tech it because we haven't yet to do a deck tech on a commander deck. So maybe we'll do one down the road just so that you can kind of see some of the stuff that we've worked with in our past. But that's about it for that guy. I mean, I'm not sure what else I could really go into other than he's awesome. So Keith, you want to run into yours?
Sounds like you got a beast crush on him.
I do. I can't help it. It's an awesome card.
Alright, so for my first pick, I'm going to go with a deck that I'm currently using and making a lot of changes to, because it was fun starting out with this guy, but I've realized there's a ton of spells out there that are better than what I've got, so I've been ordering cards and adding things to it. Purphoros, God of the Forge. It's a mono red, which is kind of nice. Because I can go in and use things like, Ruination and Blood Moon that disrupts multicolored decks pretty badly, getting rid of all the non-basic lands. And then there's just a ton of spells that are going to dump creatures onto the battlefield. If you look at Purphoros, his main enchantment ability, even when he's not a creature, is when another creature enters the battlefield, he deals 2 damage to every opponent. So it doesn't matter how many people you've got in your play group, how many people are playing with you, he's going to do 2 damage to everybody. One thing I did learn recently, and I think our play group still might not know, everybody, because the way we've been playing, we haven't been playing like this. Your commander damage, you can kill somebody off with 21 commander damage. That has to be combat damage. So the damage that Purphoros does when a creature enters the battlefield, it will not take somebody out.
Thank God.
Once you get 21. But still, you've got a lot of spells like your Tempt with Vengeance, Mog Infestation, Krinko, he's a good one, Snake Basket, Orokai Hatchery. There's a lot of spells where you can just dump tons of creatures. Goblin Warrens, things like that. You can dump tons of creatures and do a lot of damage, even though you might not be very good in combat, because a lot of these creatures you're putting out are 1/1 goblins or 1/1 mirror tokens. You slap in a Panharmonicon or something like that that's going to double those triggers, and then he's doing 4 damage for each creature. And you put a Panharmonicon out there, and you have Purphoros on the battlefield, play 10 creature spells, or get 10 creatures to enter the battlefield, and you can kill someone off from their 40. Do you start at 30 or 40?
40, Commander. Either way.
Either way, they're going to be dead. So there's lots of ways where you can really dump in a lot of creatures and take advantage of Purphoros. Obviously, he is indestructible, and when he becomes a creature, he's a 6/5. Is he a 6/5?
I think so.
Look at the card right there.
It's on the screen. Boom.
I don't have it in front of me. You can also use a lot of ramp spells like your Gauntlet of Might if you've got the money. I looked that card up today and it was like $300. So
which one?
I don't have one of the Gauntlet of Might. I don't have one of those. But with my play group, I know they don't mind proxies sometimes. I've got some pretty cool proxies. I'll take some pictures and post them on this video here. They have nothing to do with this Purphoros deck, but just some of the stuff that I play with, and I know my play group doesn't mind. So talk to the guys you play with and see if they care. But Gauntlet of Might's a cool card. Ruby Medallion's another good one. So there's lots of ways to ramp up. Niheb the Eternal's another one. You know, you play a couple of creatures and do 2 damage to all your opponents. Then at the beginning of your second main phase, he gives you a ton of mana you can use to cast one of these spells that requires X in the cost and kill everybody. That's the purpose. So I like Purphoros. I'm still working on this deck, and he's been a lot of fun. Like I said, being mono red, you're obviously only able to use one color, but there's a lot of cool abilities and other things that tie in with Purphoros that I think make him my number 2. He's my number 2. Go ahead and hit your next one.
You started number 2. I started with number 1. But
that was your number 1?
Yeah, that's all right.
All right, that's fine. It's our video. We'll do what we want.
Yeah. All right, so my number 2. Where did he go? I've lost him. He disappeared on me.
He's right there.
Oh, son of a gun. So my number 2, I went with Aerois, God of Victory, and I'm sure a lot of people know that not most time, but there's a large portion of Commander decks most people put together with a God card because they're freaking effective, and that's just how they work. So, but it is a 4-drop legendary enchantment creature. Has indestructible as long as devotion to red and white is less than 7. Aerois isn't a creature. Creatures you control can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures, which means they pretty much all have menace. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to attacking creatures you control. So with him on the field of play, all my creatures are pretty much indestructible by purposes of damage during the attacking phase. Now, they can obviously still be targeted during the defensive portion of the game, but it's pretty gnarly, and I saw that, and I was like, I really want to just put one together with this guy. So the basics of this deck, or not this deck, but around him and what needs to be done around him is to have a decent set of creatures, whether they're small, large, stuff that's effective, so that when you are swinging at your opponent, you don't lose them during attack. Because I know that happens a lot. If you want to swing at somebody pulls a fast one, throws something else at you to kill a creature that you don't want dead on your turn. Well, guess what? Not this time around. So I mean, there's other ways to kill creatures off during attack, but one card or 2 cards or multiple cards that need to be added with this guy for a commander, of course, is something like Lightning Greaves. It's an easy equipped artifact for a creature, and since it gives them Shroud and Haste, the Haste isn't such a huge deal here, but it's beneficial. You can bounce it around during the game if you need to, but since stuff can get exiled, I mean, you put an indestructible creature out there that means business, somebody exiles it, then it's just a pointless, oops, what has happened? So having something that can protect it like that, or another Shroud or Cloak of Mist, I think is what it is. It's another artifact that keeps it from being targeted by spells or abilities. So I definitely have that in there. Other things like a creature, Balefire Liege, will benefit all your red and white creatures since your deck's going to be red-white based anyway. And that's because it's got the converted mana cost of either a red-white times 3, which is total of 5, but it has your devotion is huge on that. It's 6 devotion right away for a guy like that. So, and that also applies with Boros Reckoner, has the 6 devotion on 1 card, so it keeps him as a creature pretty quickly. And putting a lot of dual-colored creatures or enchantments on the field of play help push that as well. That's something I went with, and another one to build up creature levels to help and enhance that attack phase is Assemble the Legion would go well with this guy, because every turn you get a counter on that enchantment, but you put a token out there for each counter on it, so that builds up quick, gets pretty nasty. I did some other enchantments like Scourge of the Nobiles is excellent for this guy. It's pretty beneficial, I think, because it just does what it needs to. It has it's a 3-drop. As long as enchanted creature is red, it gets a +1/+1, and has pay a red or white. This creature gets a +1/+0 on turn, so you can pump him up a little bit. And then as long as enchanted creature is white, it gets a +1/+1 and has lifelink. So you play that on him, he bumps up to a 9/6. You could pump him up to a 10/6 by tapping one other, and now he's just gained you 9 life when he swings. Plus he can't die. So I mean, it's a pretty good combo. Those are the kind of cards that I would add to this deck, or having a deck for him. Tablet of Guilds is another one that works well around him, because if you're basing it all red-white, and Tablet of Guilds can let you choose anything. So you choose 2 colors, and then it gives you options So whenever you cast a spell of one of those colors, you cast a red-white creature spell, you gain 2 life. So there's a lot of life gain that you can do for a deck like this with Aerois. And then you can put some other aspects in it. This would also be another deck tech we can do for this deck, and even Keith's second one too. So I like how that one sets up. There's a lot of cool things that can come with it. I know the first few times I played it, and I just kind of slapped it together and didn't have a really good thought process. I went in and I punched some people in the face real quick, and then I got targeted and then was out of the game in like the next 3 rounds. So it wasn't fun for me. It was at first because I thought I had it, but then suddenly I was targeted and I was out. So and that was part of not being able to protect him, and that's why Lightning Greaves was put in a deck for him and some other stuff that would work well. Yeah, so that's kind of, my top 2, the Ural the Miststalker, the Aura deck, and then Aerois got a victory, the Indestructible attack deck is what I call it pretty much. So those are my 2. I guess you're next, buddy.
I'm up. Now, hey, first, before we do that, let's run into this secret giveaway. There's not going to be any visual cues for this, so you really have to pay attention if you're going to win this.
Uh-oh.
We never had any results from our Twitter giveaway that we did. So I'm going to give away my Lord of Extinction Masterpiece card.
Woo!
I don't know what it's worth.
Hold on.
But I've got it double sleeved, and I've been taking really good care of it, waiting for somebody to win this. So to win this card, what I need you to do is get in the comment section below and be the first person to comment your favorite commander and why. The first person to comment with their favorite commander and why will win the Lord of Extinction Masterpiece
Listed
card.
median is $30.
$30 just for listening to the video and leaving a comment.
I was going to make it harder. But
All right, my number 1 commander. A lot of people probably will disagree with this, and that's fine. I'm picking this because he's right up my alley with weird crap. I like weird combos. I like jank. That's just kind of how I roll. I'm going with Reaper King.
Uh-oh.
Reaper King is a 5-color scarecrow artifact creature. He's going to give all your other scarecrows +1/+1, and anytime a scarecrow enters the battlefield, you get to pick and destroy target permanent. So I haven't put this deck together. I don't have this card, but I'm working on it. Because ever since we had a friend that we used to play with, and he played a Reaper King deck, and he didn't even win that game that we played when he played that deck, but it made me want to build a Scarecrow deck based around Reaper King. In Magic the Gathering, in the entire history of Magic the Gathering, they have made 31 Scarecrow cards. 30 of them are legal in Commander, so just based off the fact that this is centered around scarecrows, you're probably going to have 30 scarecrows in your deck. One of those, obviously, is the Reaper King. The Painter Servant is banned in Commander because of the way it can affect colors and things in yours, and I believe other people's decks, too. So, that being said, you can also use things like the Adaptive Automaton and Metallic Mimic to get some more benefits for scarecrows. You get both of those out there, then all your scarecrows are getting +2/+2. Plus it's just another scarecrow entering the battlefield so that you can trigger the Reaper King's abilities. So you use things like that. You use things like your Mirror Works. Mirror Works, whenever an artifact enters, you can pay 2 and create a token that's a copy of it. So then, you're going to get to kill off 2 permanents. Slap in a Panharmonicon too, that's the same thing. So if you've got a Mirror Works and a Panharmonicon, then every time a Scarecrow enters, you pay 2, create a copy, and then you're getting to choose and destroy 4 permanents because of the Reaper King. You can use all of the artifact Scarecrow. All of the Scarecrows are artifacts, so you can use things like Cloud Key, Foundry Inspector, Mycosynth Golem to reduce the cost of your artifacts, make it easier to cast these things. Some of them are then going to be free. So I just think that Reaper King is a really cool commander. He's obviously not the most powerful. He's not the best commander out there, but he's probably my number 1 right now because just the way that you can use some of these other cards. And with him being 5 color, you can then go in and fill your deck in with
Anything.
any card out there, as long as it's not banned in Commander. So if you need more card draw, you can add in blue. You can, if you need to be able to kill stuff, you can add in red. If you need to exile things like Heroic Scout of Victory, you can throw in some white. You know, you can add into this deck around those 30 scarecrows anything you want that's going to benefit your deck and your play style. One thing I wanted to point out, check down in the description below. There is a video by EtherHub called MTG Lore Scarecrows. So I'm going to post a link to that video, and it just kind of goes back in time and walks you through how scarecrows have affected Magic the Gathering and the story that they're trying to create. So that is our top picks for the day. Commanders, we're going to put another poll up on Twitter so that we can figure out what we're doing for next week's LMMG picks, top picks. And we'll have another video for you next time. Make sure you check us out.
Quick shout out to Nukadon for the last giveaway on my pack opening. He did get that correct. It was Heroic Intervention of Aether Volt. So I'll be sending you, well, not right away. You need to send me your information, and we'll get that pre-built deck to you that came in the cube. Good job, bud.
Deuces.
Deuces.